Hey everyone, it's Dr. Mel here, and I have an exciting opportunity for you. I'm looking for 2 interns who would love to share your expertise in exchange for a scholarship to my Entrepreneur Academy. So if you've ever thought about starting your own educational consultancy, but you're just not quite sure exactly what you would do, I can help you with that. That's what you're going to learn in my Entrepreneur Academy. I'll help you figure out exactly where your interests, your purpose, your passions, your skills, all of your experiences, all of your expertise, where those align to be the perfect educational consultancy for you. So if you have some mad skills in social media marketing or email marketing or anything at all that you could help me in my business, then hit me up. I'm doing much of the work myself at this moment, and I could really use the help. And I know that there are some really creative educators out there who would love to exchange your services in order to learn how to start your own educational consultancy. I'm going to drop a link in the show notes. All you have to do is click on it, give me your name and email, and I will reach out to you with more information. Well, hello, Empowered Educators. Welcome back to another episode of your Empowered Educator Midweek Mastery. I'm your host, Dr. Mel. I think sometimes we look at perfectionism as a superpower, but in all reality, perfectionism, it's a limiting belief, and it holds you back sometimes from accomplishing the goals that you really want to accomplish. I didn't even realize that perfectionism was a limiting mindset until I started doing research for my book, Educator to Entrepreneur. I was doing research for mindset and limiting beliefs, and to my surprise, perfectionism was on that list. Well, guess what? This girl suffers from perfectionism big time, to the extent that I either don't take action or I stress so much about the little minute details, which I'm detail-oriented, yes, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but man, I am obsessive. I'm like OCD perfectionism. Now, I'm not a doctor, at least not that kind of doctor, but maybe I just created something new, a perfectionist OCD personality. I've always been the type to literally stress over the most insignificant details, like how big a font size was, or what the font was, or if it looked good with this color. And oh my goodness, I would give myself anxiety and stress over the stupidest things that didn't even matter to anyone but myself. Nobody cares if I use Garamond font as opposed to Helvetica. Nobody even probably knows what those are, nor do they care. That's why creating a brand kit is so important. That's one of the things it takes out of your decision making because it's already there. You have 3 things to pick from: main font, cursive font, sub font. There you go. Done. Today, I want to talk about perfectionism in education as an educational leader. When we think about perfectionism in the context of education, it often involves those unrealistic standards that we set for ourselves, that fear of failure, and maybe even an avoidance of risk-taking, which impacts both your personal growth and could possibly affect your student outcomes. Understanding perfectionism helps educators recognize its influence on their teaching and their leadership. When you understand what perfectionism is, it allows you to create that more balanced and effective approach to anything that you need to accomplish or decisions that you need to make. So here's your action step. Identify one teaching practice or administrative task where perfectionism has created unnecessary stress for you. And then set a realistic goal that allows for you to have flexibility and learning rather than perfection. If you have 4 things to choose from, then maybe get rid of one that you are like, okay, I can take this one or leave it. And then you're down to 3. And then maybe set some parameters around how those are used. For me, an example, and this is just my examples because this is what comes to my head because I'm working on my business. So say a font. I have chosen a main font, which I use as my main font in everything. But then when I want to add a little flair, I have a specific cursive font that's in my brand kit. Then I can choose that. And then if I want to mix it up a little bit, I have a third font, which I can use as a sub font after I use the other two. I use these in my newsletters. I use them in every bit of communication that I have. That takes out any of the extra thinking that I have to do and eliminates some stress. And what that might look like in the context of education is, as a principal, maybe you're striving for flawless execution of a new school-wide initiative. Instead of aiming for perfectionism, set a goal to implement the initiative with a focus on learning and adaptability. Allow for feedback from the staff and the students as you go along. That way you can start getting to a perfect execution, but it doesn't have to be executed perfectly. My second point is what the impact of perfectionism has on decision-making and innovation. Perfectionism can stifle your decision-making because you get too many things in your head and you don't know what to do then. And you're not as innovative. And it leads to missed opportunities for improvement and growth in the educational context. Recognizing how perfectionism affects decision-making helps you make more timely and innovative choices, ultimately benefit your students and your school. So your action step is to implement a decision-making process that allows for collaborative input, which takes a little bit of pressure off of you. And it prioritizes those timely actions over perfect solutions. And then reflect on the outcomes and adjust as needed. So what does that look like for you? So maybe you're faced with the decision to adopt a new technology platform for your building or your school as a whole. Instead of waiting for the perfect solution, get some input from your teachers and the staff, and then choose a platform that meets most of the needs. Because guess what? There's no perfect platform out there, and somebody's always going to wish it did something better. But then commit to a pilot program. And after the pilot, gather feedback and then make adjustments rather than waiting for the perfect system to be found. Because if you just continue to wait, you're never going to get anything done. And my last point is to foster a growth mindset. Overcoming perfectionism involves cultivating that growth mindset, which values progress, experimentation, and learning from your mistakes. When you have a growth mindset, it encourages you to model resilience and continuous improvement for your students and your staff, and in return, you've fostered a positive learning environment. So your action step is, if you haven't already started one, I highly recommend starting a professional reflection journal where you can document your challenges, the strategies that you've tried, and the lessons you've learned, and then focus on growth and development rather than that flawless execution. For example, if you're an instructional coach, keep a journal where you reflect on your coaching sessions with your teachers. Then document what strategies worked, what didn't work, and how you adjusted your approach or how you can adjust it. And then use this reflection to continually improve your coaching methods, and then share your learning process with your teachers to encourage a culture of growth. Guys, perfectionism can be a significant barrier in the field of education, but by recognizing its presence, because I think most of us have some perfectionist tendencies, especially in leadership, and then recognizing the impact on that, you can take steps to overcome it. Embrace that growth mindset, allow for those imperfections because there are going to be some, and then focus on the progress to become more effective and a more confident leader. It has been my absolute pleasure to serve you. I hope your midweek mastery has been a good one this week. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you back here same time, same place on Friday. Bye-bye.